Hello everyone, same token here. We are finally seeing Halo Infinite in motion after the year-long delay, and boy, does it look good. So this is just a short video where we'll be going over what we've learned so far in the trailers, as well as 343's Waypoint updates. Initially, we thought that the Halo Infinite gameplay reveal we saw a whole year ago was the final product. Many were excited, some were frustrated, and plenty were very skeptical. But then Microsoft delayed it all, slowly trickling out tidbits of their progress in developing the game's graphics, sound, gameplay, and story. Well, now a year has passed since their false start. Microsoft revealed the closest representation of Halo Infinite's final product we've seen thus far in what was one of Xbox's stronger presentations. Now, admittedly, Halo did take a bit of a back seat in the presentation, with Forza Horizon 5 clearly taking the spotlight. Yet, although the information on the campaign was sparse, we were treated to Halo Infinite's multiplayer in motion for the first time. And wow, something about this feels like Halo. I love the art direction, the armor, the maps, and best of all, it looks genuinely fun. As we saw in the screenshots 343 have been trickling out, they have much improved the lighting since last year's presentation. This has allowed their art direction to shine through. I mean, just compare the shadows on this weapon. Yes, they are different lighting conditions, but you can tell that there is more depth. And check out all that added detail. I'm not too sure about the shield break effect, which is very intense, but it may be one of those things that grow on you over time. Or perhaps in the upcoming beta, the feedback may cause it to be altered if it affects gameplay negatively. Graphics aside, it was the gameplay that we were really treated to this time around, and I wasn't disappointed. It flows brilliantly. Just look how smooth that is. Classic Halo map layouts return looking all very tidy, sensible, and honestly, pretty. It's the same story with the new maps, and this week's cannon fodder dived into some of their backstories. Behemoth and Fragmentation are both set on Halo, but Recharge is a resource infrastructure facility that maintains energy grids on colony worlds. Livefire takes place within the Avery J. Johnson Academy of Military Science, preparing future Spartans for combat. And Bazaar is set in Old Mombasa, demonstrating the Project Rebirth's revitalization efforts after the city had been glassed by the Covenant. As with previous Halos, each map having their own story serves to increase their mystery and depth. In 343's multiplayer overview video, bringing back Legacy Halo with a modern spin was certainly their key theme. And from what we've seen so far, it looks as though they've succeeded. I'm liking all the little details, the size of the BR's reticle, plus the designs of the weapons, old and new, are spot on. It is a shame that the gravity hammer doesn't appear to affect, well, gravity. It kills Spartans, yes, but it doesn't send them flying. There are, however, some great-looking new weapons being added, like the banished weapon, the Skewer, an anti-tank spike cannon, and the UNSC's VK-78 Commando, which featured in the demo last year. Interestingly, we are seeing the return of Halo 3's equipment, which were limited use abilities that are picked up throughout the arenas and deployed when the player feels like it. Except now, they include power-ups. So you can hold on to something like an overshield and deploy it at exactly the right time. We also see completely new equipment types. Grapple shots allow you to zip across the map. Repulsors deflect projectiles. And drop walls provide bubble shield-like protection without being overpowered. Thankfully, they all look considered and useful, perhaps even more so than Halo 3's equipment. Hopefully then, they will be balanced. After all, they are limited in use, and perhaps they'll come with a considerable skill curve, as making them too easy might put off veteran players. Now, it wouldn't be a full Halo experience without vehicles. And it looks like Infinite will be delivering in this area too. Ghosts look fantastic in their banished skin, as does the chopper, which finally returns. Warthogs have far more interesting damage models as well, with 343 suggesting that damage will affect its handling. Perhaps we can shoot off all the wheels, stranding its driver. I can imagine that kind of thing will add another layer of goofy fun, especially in custom games, along with new levels of frustration as you rush a flag back to base. And speaking of using vehicles for things like flags, we were introduced to the Razorback, appearing like the Warthog's more sensible, spacious, and functional sibling. Players can place items in its rear storage compartment. This includes things like detached turrets, equipment, and of course, objectives. Essentially, we now have a usable pickup truck that could change the dynamics of big team battles, which themselves will be bigger than ever. Halo Infinite takes big team battle to the next level. The original 16-player cap has been increased to 24, which is essentially adding a Team Slayer lobby's worth of people into an already chaotic game type. Adding to this, Pelicans now drop vehicles into the battlefield, along with what 343 call weapon ordnance. Now, personal ordnance was a feature of Halo 4's war games that was similar to Call of Duty's kill streaks, where players are rewarded with tools after gaining a certain number of points. However, Unisec assures us that this is not what they are referring to. Ordnance in Halo Infinite is merely random weapon drops around the map in big team battle, which is something we've seen before. Like in Halo Reach, they are emphasizing creating your own personal Spartan. Designing your character to represent anything you wanted with a wide range of awesome pieces and attachments was a Reach staple. But with Halo 4 and 5, customization became progressively more restrictive. To find out more about the evolution of Halo's armor customization, be sure to click on the pop-out banner in the top right corner. Fortunately though, Halo Infinite will provide players with more customization options than ever before. Perhaps most importantly, there will be even more per-piece options, including helmets, visors, shoulder pads, and even gloves. And you can also customize prosthesis. I am a huge fan of the direction that they're taking Halo's armor. It looks like a melding between all the best parts of the franchise, living up to their claim of making Infinite a modern take on Halo's legacy. Additionally, there will also be in-depth customization of vehicles, which is something I'm looking forward to seeing more of. And then, while the announcer will still deliver your double kills and triple kill medals, players will now have their own personal AI that tells them about battlefield updates. And of course, this can be customized. In the trailer, we saw Lumu, who shares commonalities with AI used in the finance industry, described by 343 as providing a cost-benefit approach to fighting, as well as not being fun at parties. Thankfully, there are others that will be fun. Hopefully, this means we'll see familiar options like Anti-Dot, Cortana herself, and maybe Mombasa's superintendent, if they could somehow make that work. Then there's armor coatings, and frankly, they look great. And to help alleviate apprehension from some, it also seems as though there are solid color coatings. Having said that, it still might not be to everyone's taste. You see, coatings will be present for every Halo match, and of course that includes team-based games. Players will no longer assume their team's color on their Spartan. Instead, they're implementing a new friend and foe system, which essentially outlines teammates and enemies using the team color. That way, chosen armor coatings will always shine through no matter where you play. I think it's a great idea, but as I said, maybe not for everyone. Perhaps there will be a toggle to turn off seeing other players' coatings, though this would be a surprising move simply because of what coatings mean for Infinite's existence. Halo's multiplayer is now free to play, and coatings are, of course, going to be a large source of revenue through microtransactions. But the way they're implementing microtransactions may put some fears to rest. As they've said before, there will be no pay-to-win and no random loot boxes. They want players to know exactly how to unlock every bit of customization content. Loads of stuff is unlocked through playing the game and only playing the game, so you're not going to find that armor that you've spent weeks trying to unlock suddenly purchasable. That way, we could once again see armors like Hayabusa or Recon that were worn as badges of honor. Microtransactions kick in with battle passes, which are purchasable packages within which you earn experience to unlock the pack's content as you play. However, unlike in many other games, when you buy a battle pass in Infinite, it's yours forever and doesn't expire. In future seasons, you could even purchase older battle passes, and you can always choose which battle pass to put your progress towards. Because they never end, you should never feel forced to play and grind. You play when you want and how you want, with the knowledge that you can always go back to a previous battle pass to unlock its items. It doesn't have any of this artificial addiction that time-limited paid content creates. So it looks as though this system will be incredibly profitable, and I hope that's the case. Free-to-play, coupled with PC support and streaming Game Pass over the internet, gives Halo Infinite's multiplayer the lowest barrier to entry we have ever seen in the series. Thus, we are going to see a huge influx of new players. 343 have prepared for this impending skill disparity between veterans and newcomers by creating something they call the Academy, essentially a Halo multiplayer tutorial. It's actually a physical space that'll get players caught up with how to play Halo, and specifically how to play Halo Infinite, which also means introducing bots to multiplayer for the first time. And yes, they've confirmed that bots can be enabled in custom games, and they can be used to fill in roster spots for players, which will be so much fun to experiment with. So, we have learned loads about Halo Infinite's multiplayer, and overall, it looks brilliant. I still do want to see Forge in action, but that'll come further down the line. Then there's the story reveal, and I have to say, what a phenomenal soundtrack. Although it was short, it did give us hints as to where they're taking the plot. We see what looks like a Cortana clone known as the Weapon, talking about how the original Cortana had been deactivated. This is exactly the sort of direction I was hoping they'd take the story after Halo 4. After all, one of Cortana's fears in Halo 4, that the Chief would be paired with another Cortana model, has been realized. And with this, will the new relationship dynamic be more father-daughter as Chief teaches her the ropes? Is the original Cortana really deactivated? And what will happen if the original Cortana sees Chief with this new model? It definitely has me excited for finding out more. And then of course there's the subtle storytelling through the Chief's actions. The way he pushes the Covenant corpses out of the way like they're nothing, but respectfully slows down when he takes the weapon of a fallen Marine. Overall, this is a great cutscene snippet, and I hope it's indicative of the quality of the rest of the campaign. I look forward to comparing the final product with how I feel now. This whole reveal has me feeling far more confident than ever before with Halo, and it'll be amazing to feel what the game plays like when they finally start flighting. What did you think of this year's reveal? Please be sure to let me know in the comments. So, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe and hit the bell icon for more. Stay safe out there, and I'll catch you next time.